a good job. I feel that is exactly what I needed. I can still have all the dials visibly clear for me. Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today we're back out on the Porsche 924. I'm going to be doing a number of competition races this year, mainly sprints and hill climbs. However, the traditional setup of the steering in the 924 is a little quirky. It sits sort of on your knees, and this is a familiar design with a lot of cars in the 80s, and thus I'll be changing the setup to better ultimately control the car when I'm racing it. So you need one of these, which is a hub system, basically taking your traditional steering column and transforming it so you can fit a new race steering wheel. So we'll get out to the car and I'll walk through the steps that I take. So, welcome to the business end of my Porsche 924, and as you can see straight off the bat, you get a feel for how the steering wheel sits in situ when you are sat in the driver's seat. And of course there is no adjustment forward and back, up or down like you do on, or like you have on modern cars, so you are sort of stuck with this position. The seats of course are adjustable on some cars, but on this one it is simply forward and back. So yeah, this is what you get, and this makes the 924 quite an interesting position when you are driving in a spirited manner. So that is why we are going to be fitting a new wheel here. Now I should say the sizes of these, I believe they are about 380mm, which is the full size. You have a sport version which is 360. I believe this is the sport version, so 360mm in diameter. The one I have ordered is 350mm, so it's not that small, and mainly because I wanted to still see the instrument gauge. But with the Boss, it should sit out towards me, which is great. When you think about holding the wheel, you want a nice comfortable position, but you want the wheel more towards you than sort of further, so you're not reaching for it. And that is hopefully what this kit will provide. So slightly smaller diameter, slightly pushed towards me, which should free up the gap between my leg and the wheel. So when you're trying to move, obviously your leg, especially when you're changing gear, the bottom of the wheel is sort of interfering with my leg. So it's quite an it's quite an interesting position to be in when you're trying to drive as quickly as possible. So let's start removing all of this, and yeah, we'll walk through the steps of fitting the Boss and the new steering wheel. Right, first things first is we've got to get access to the bolt to undo the steering wheel. So it's simply a quick pull, and don't forget there's generally the wire that's attached there for your horn. So that one is removed. I've got here a 24mm 12-sided. I couldn't find one that was 6-sided, but this will do the job anyway. And that one undoes nice and easy. There we go, there's the bolt. So it's pretty straightforward. And of course, one of the things for lining up the steering wheel is, all the wheels are straight, and hopefully when you put the new wheel on, it will be there or thereabouts. But taking it for a test drive, ultimately you can test then on the road if it needs to be moved slightly over or not. But that isn't a big deal, because it literally is single bolt, as I've just shown. And there we go, that is the wheel removed. Don't forget the spacer, the washer, and that actually gives me a chance as well, because a chance to get this wheel fixed or refurbish, because the leather has seen much better days. So there's a place just down the road that I'm going to take this to while I've got the race steering wheel on. Okay, so now we're left with the part of the unit that we're going to install the boss on, which is basically extending the unit itself out, I guess a good way, somewhere between 3 and 4 inches, I guess, or 2, 3, 4 inches. So you can start to see now, that's the boss. So it gives the steering wheel a little bit of a lift out, and of course you've got the wire there for, and it's for the horn and stuff. But there's no particular way that this needs to go on. It's basically a universal fit, as you can see, and the holes here, depending on the stud pattern of the new wheel, they're generally 70mm or 74mm, depending on what steering wheel and fitment that you go for, but they're all pretty standard. Here you can see a little bronze or metallic strip that's actually copper, I think, but that, when slots on, makes contact with this part of the steering to activate your horn. So this connects, then when you push the button, obviously everything connects, making a circuit, and your horn goes into action. So yeah, that is now in place, and the idea is that we fit this back in, holding this in place, and then we fit the new steering wheel to the right sized holes. I think the one that I have is 70mm, and connect it, and that is it. That is a pretty straightforward way of removing the steering wheel and getting it ready for the new one to go on. So there's nothing there in the way, so we'll put that there, screw that in, give those a few turns, click. Okay, so we're going to offer up the new steering wheel, which is here, like so. And as you can see, that looks pretty smart, I have to say. So the main thing we have to do is just line up with the right sized holes. I believe this one is 70. So there we go. That's the holes in place there. So we'll take the screws that are supplied by the Boss kit itself. The steering wheel did come with chrome ones, but when I looked at them, the quality of the chrome ones were, yeah, they were a bit questionable. As soon as you sort of put a torque head into it, it started to round a little bit, and I don't particularly want to get these two things stuck together. So, you know, the Boss hub and the steering wheel, I'd like to separate them out and so on. So let's use the ones that come with the kit. They look a bit better quality. And we'll literally just start one off there like so. And just one at the bottom. Okay, I think I've picked the wrong hole. That's a good start. There we go, that's the right ones. There. Now, it might be that the steering wheel is a little bit off. That's okay. We can adjust that, like I said, with just undoing the main centre nut when we're driving and getting everything lined up. So I'm not too worried with that. the main thing is that all of these go together nice and easy, which they're doing. I have to say, it looks pretty smart. I quite like the blue. I mean, I sort of wanted something a little bit off the scale, I guess. It is Porsche after all. I mean, they like a bit of loud colours now and again, but it's quite a nice, the black does match some of the black bits in the car. I mean, most of the interior is sort of this dark brown, so couldn't really find anything like that, but I quite like the blue accents in, which matches sort of the outside of the car, although it's a little bit lighter. Okay, so they're going together quite nicely. Nice and simple. There we go. I'll torque them down in a moment. And then all that's left is the horn. So just need to pick this one here. He says, there we go. And that goes on nicely. And that should clip into place, and that becomes your horn, although my horn's on the end as well, so it's a bit. So there we go, that is the steering wheel in place now. So I think first and foremost, when I test my seat in place, definitely more room now between me and the steering wheel, so let's just zoom that out a little bit there. So yeah, far more space. I can fit my legs perfectly underneath the wheel. So that is a good job. I feel that that is exactly what I needed. I can still have all the dials visibly clear for me, so nothing is in the way of the wheel, which is great. I know if you go a lot smaller, it tends to cut all your dials off right in the middle, which isn't useful, but the speedo is perfect. I can see the revs right up to the 6 mark, which is great. Fuel gauge, perfect. The only one that's probably slightly out is the temperature gauge at the top, so must keep an eye on that because that's always an important gauge. But otherwise, everything has gone together really nice, and it's sort of gone in place exactly as I hoped. I did think about going a lot smaller, but I just think, yeah, I think this is a really nice size. And like I said, the 350, I think Porsche do a original 350mm steering wheel, which is the smallest sports wheel that they do. Don't know if they did it on the 924, but it might be a 944, 968 option. Someone in the comments can keep me real on that, but otherwise everything is good. Okay, so the steering wheel went on nice and easy. It's a great upgrade to do to your car actually if you're thinking of just reducing a little bit of weight, because this one here, I mean, these are pretty expensive now, the original ones, but I reckon quarter to maybe half a kg saved. It is pretty hefty, these old wheels. So from that perspective, all weight saving is good. But yeah, the new wheel's gone on really well. It feels great. It gives me a lot more room now for my legs in terms of accelerator, brake and clutch during gear changes and driving more spiritedly, as they say. So from that perspective, a job well done, I say. So thanks as always for watching. Thanks for the support. If there's any comments about the steering wheel upgrade or anything that you'd like to know, please drop a comment below. And the next videos will be along very soon.